Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Melanie. I'm with my friend Bobby and I'm doing her makeup today and we're just kind of doing a really chill thing. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do, but let's get started. First off, everything's been sanitized. I completely cleaned all my brushes last night and no one's touched them since. So as far as like Corona stuff going on, nothing's dirty. I've sanitized everything. It was a pain in the butt, but just for you. I sanitized absolutely everything. Even the brushes that were clean, I was like, I'm cleaning them anyway. So it's all clean, it's all good. So I'm gonna put a primer on you and this is the DERMABLEND primer. It's my favorite. Do you ever struggle to like match the color of your foundation?
In the winter, I'm white. I get dark in the summer, so that's the only struggle I have with like.
What I like to do is I like to make sure that we match not just like your face, but like your whole body. So sometimes like someone's arms and chest and area will be darker than their face. So I'll match them to a darker foundation than their face just to make it all cohesive. I have one from LANCOME and it's the Skin Feels Good foundation that I really like. And then I have the ARBONNE Liquid Perfecting foundation. And then I have another LANCOME one. It's a matte and it's the Tinted Ultra 24 hour. I invited Bobby over because I feel like she's a really confident person. I just feel like, I don't know, like you just exude like, I know who I am and all this stuff. So what helps you to be really confident with yourself?
I have flaws, but I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with the things that are not right with me. That obviously my belief in God, you know, that he values me is important to me. And if I'm a value to him, I'm a value to the world. I know I'm like imperfect, but I think God can use me anyway. For me personally, confidence comes from is knowing it's okay to be imperfect.
When I work with clients and they're like, well, I want to cover up all my imperfections, I always like to tell them they're not really imperfections, they're just distractions. We're not really imperfect. If God makes perfect things, then that's not really possible. So
yeah.
Children. For me, it's just, we're not going to cover up your imperfections. We're just going to cover up the distractions that take away from you as a person. You know what I mean?
I love that.
They're not imperfections. They're just distractions. Okay. I think you have really good skin. I really do.
Thank you. I have some sunspots I'm noticing.
They're just sun-induced freckles. That's all they are. Like, it's okay. And you'll go out in the sun a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I try to wear a hat more lately.
Yeah.
But
so I'm noticing if you go out in the sun a lot, you'll see, if you look up, you'll see that right here on the neck is a lot lighter than everything else. Yes. And that's just because that shadow of your chin will always cover this little like Adam's apple spot. And so people who go out in the sun, they have to put foundation on that spot. Or bronzer or something to like blend that color, you know what I mean? Because it's not the same.
I grew up playing soccer and just sports and running, and I was having some health problems as a teenager just from some stressful situations. And I remember when I was 18, I found this yoga video at a garage sale and I was like, what the heck is this?
Oh my word, I love it.
And I was used to like running really hard and doing, you know, lifting hard workouts. I tried this video and it was so hard. Oh my heck, I was like, what is this and why am I drenched in sweat? Like I'm just like barely moving. Yeah. And I noticed I started feeling a lot better and being able to manage stress a lot better. And so I went on a mission eventually for the Church of Jesus Christ. And while there, I was just for fun doing yoga at our gym time. And just this little flock of missionaries came up and they started doing yoga with me. Throughout my mission, I was known as the yoga sister. So
the yoga sister, I love that.
I would teach all my companions yoga. A lot of them to get a lot more fit from doing it, or at least relieve stress.
Yoga's hard.
It is.
Like I did a beginner yoga thing on YouTube or whatever, and afterwards, like my arms hurt.
You know, like it's kind of like anything. So the whole purpose anciently of yoga was to strengthen your muscles around your bones so you could sit for long periods of time and have communion with God, which means a feast with God. Like there's that verse, be still and know that I am God. That just means if you were to like break that down to know God, be still. So I think really yoga, it's not like a religion or anything. It's just a vehicle to spirituality. It helps you to be still, to get rid of stress, negative thinking patterns. It's just like a meditative, really cool thing that helps you be still so you can better know God. And I owned a gym for 6 years.
Okay.
And I taught yoga there, and I just would have a lot of people that had a lot of trauma in their lives they didn't know how to talk about. And trauma holds in your body, so the way you think and your mind impacts your nervous system. And yoga just helps you kind of release those things. So it was really cool to watch people heal from things that they thought they maybe never could. it's just a really cool experience to teach that there. And then I ended up selling my gym and started speaking to some youth groups about the ability to be still. When you're still, you can alleviate things like depression when you're in a chronic state of stress. It's just really hard on your mind. You have such high cortisol levels constantly. Your mind's not meant to reside in that state, so it helps you to get back to peace or homeostasis, and God really does reside in peace. That's where you can feel him the most. So.
Yeah. So I did a translucent powder T-zone, and then I did a Burt's Bees powder around everything else just to kind of lightly set it. And now I'm doing a little bit of highlight with the JACKLYN Hill Mood Highlighter. I don't like to use anything else heavier than this, just because this, like in person, this is probably one of the best highlighters that I've ever used. All those other like pressed highlighters are going to look really pretty, but in person it just looks like you have glitter on your face. Like it really does not look very good. And this one just kind of like, it's so fine that it just molds into your skin, and it just looks like you have glowy skin. You were saying post-traumatic stress?
Oh, yeah, I had an accident and I was struggling. I went from being this uber confident person. Oh. I had some issues. But I really did feel pretty confident before, and then just fear overtook me, and I never even knew what fear was before that. I was having a hard time leaving my house. I didn't want to talk to people. It was really bizarre for me because I'm a very social person. So shortly after that, I got 2 consecutive concussions a few months apart. And so then I was having, called post-concussion syndrome. I had long-term effects from my concussions. So just getting myself to focus, to be able to be with people, it was a huge challenge. But this meditation and this yoga really helped me to stay grounded. And I honestly feel like I understand why people turn to things sometimes, because they're just looking, they say addiction is a way to regulate your nervous system. And I was so out of sorts. I couldn't sleep because I was constantly in fight or flight. And I'm a big prayer person, but yeah, it just helped me hold my ground while I struggled. I always want to tell people, I'm like, hey, healing just takes time. Like on your worst night, I remember some really horrible nights that I don't even know how to talk about. I just remember thinking, if this is how my life is going to go, this is not good. And I feel really great now. Healing just takes time.
And how long has it been for you then?
4 years since my little accident, and then 2 years since my concussions. Exactly 2 years.
So yeah, it definitely takes time. On her brows, I just did a tinted brow gel, and then I used a pomade brow gel with an angled brush on her brows. So basically, I just took this darker shade and just brought it up. We're just creating this crease right here.
Okay.
And you can even do your eyeshadow with your eyes open like you are right now.
Huh.
I'm going to take a clean brush and then just kind of fade this edge right out here.
Oh, that's cool.
But you always want to use a clean brush. I've gone in with this one, now I'm going with the shade. I don't know what they're called, so deal with it. I don't know what they're called.
Do you want me to close my eye?
Yeah. So yesterday when I asked you to do this with me, we started talking about like self-care. So tell me a little bit more about your opinion of self-care.
So I think it's so important. I think as women, and men do this too, but we give so much as adults. It's so essential for your health to take care of yourself too. And my thoughts are, there's a verse that says your body is a temple, and we're meant to really house the Spirit of God. I just think it's important to take care of yourself, to build a strong structure, because darkness comes in many forms. It's not just a thought that's dark. It's, physically you can feel dark when you're not healthy, and it's hard to be unwell, and it's hard to take care of yourself to become well. You just get to choose the challenge. And then we were talking about makeup, but we have temples where we go worship, and they are so pretty. They're beautiful.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Like not just on the inside. Any building really, but yeah, like religious buildings. It's like, oh, well, it's only what's on the inside that matters, right? Like that's what we say.
All the time.
Like as people, right? Oh, it's what's on the inside that matters. But what's the respect value for that building if you let the outside like look like crap?
Yeah. It's good to take care of your outer appearance too. It doesn't mean you're vain. I don't believe that at all. I was at a family reunion, and I'm not saying I'm the life of the party, but I'm the life of the party.
I'm not saying I'm the coolest person there.
I'm not, really, honestly. I love people so much. I remember one family reunion, I'd go run in the mornings. We were at this beach, and I would just go running. I needed it because physiologically I have a health condition. If I don't take care of it, then I am a beast. I'm not nice. Anyway, they're like, well, why are you taking away time from the family? Like, can't you just be with us? We're only here for 4 or 5 days. Listen, you do not want to be with me for 4 or 5 days if I don't go do this. Like, this small and simple thing I'm doing for myself gives me the capacity to love. You know, let love be for yourself and for your neighbor and for God. Like, those are all important things.
I totally agree. We went on a RV camping trip with my husband's family, and it was this beautiful place. And I realized that there was a hiking trail like right there, and I was super excited. And I went, and they all thought I was crazy. I dragged my husband along at like 6 a.m. And they're like, "Okay," just teasing me a little bit. I had a great time, you know, and like, you know, I got to flirt with my husband without my kids around. I got, you know, I got to go out in nature and get a sweat on and just, you know, just enjoy myself in this new place. And it was just gorgeous. Maybe I'll put some pictures up of what it was like, but it was just so pretty. And my day was just better because of it. So
I think our spirits are so grateful when we're honoring the gift God gave us.
We have to take care of our spirits separately, like differently than our bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a different animal almost.
And well, you're trying to combine the two as well. And I think our spirits feel more at home in our own skin when we're taking care of ourselves.
So do you like teaching kids how to do yoga?
I honestly love all of it. So
good.
I have worked with people fresh out of prison. I have worked with a lot of teenagers and kid groups. The one I wish I could do more is men's groups. I think they need it. Men with unmet emotional needs when they're young turn into angry adults, and I think we've got to do something to help them process in a different way. Anger is a secondary emotion. It means you're sad or grieving. It's not the true emotion, but if you only know like anger, you're missing a whole slew of things.
I came across a quote the other day that said, I sat with my anger long enough that she told me her name was grief. And that's just what you said. And it's like, after I read that quote, I just sat there for a long time and just thought through my life, oh my word, that was grief and that was grief.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize. Has there been a story that you've loved that's like helped you grow or like been a really cool thing to watch?
Yeah, well, I think it's like a ripple effect when you experience love or God's love. You can't not want to extend it. I just remember I had this cousin that came into town and he was so bright. I distinctly remember him walking into the room and I felt something. I don't really have other words than that. It was like this spark of hope just started bringing me to life. That cousin, I don't know why, but he called me every day, literally, for like 3 years after that.
Wow, that is a dedicated cousin.
I know, we would just talk and he was going to college, I was just graduating high school, and we just had this fun little adventure. But, you know, receiving that love from that human, that's when I was getting into yoga and taking care of my body and just getting better and better from these deep struggles I didn't know how to overcome. So as I started speaking to these youth and women's groups, I was just praying, like, please let God's love be in me on such a deep level, on such a profound level, that it casts out darkness in people. I would pray for that often when I would go speak. And I just remember this lady coming up to me in tears, and she said, you know, I've been to a couple of the things you've done. And she said, I don't know what it is, but I can feel darkness leave me when you're speaking. I know it's not from me. I know it's from God.
He's just using you as a vessel.
Our bodies are just a vessel, and he can use anybody to do his work if we open ourselves up to him.
Close.
This is so nice to get your makeup done, everybody.
I think it's fun, but it's, you know, one of those things where, like you said, like people don't think about it, but once they do it, they're like, oh,
you feel so good.
I need to do this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, you do. Do you ever struggle on how to use blush at all?
I do. I struggle with everything.
I like to start really light. Like, I'm barely touching your face, and you're just going to go like on the cheekbones. A lot of people will go lower, and that kind of brings the face down. So you don't want to do that. So you want to go almost on where we did the highlight. You want them to kind of merge together.
Okay.
And I like to go like in circular motions. If you just blend those edges up and down, then it makes it really soft. You want to find a bronzer that is really fine and is really buildable. Some people are like, oh, I need a bronzer that's like super pigmented, but that's not what you want, because no one's perfect. Even makeup artists will put too much on their brush, and then you look like you have mud on your face. And so don't go crazy. So invest in a good bronzer. That's not something that you want to go cheap on. All right, I think that's all you need. Okay, now we're just down to lips and setting spray, and we're done.
Mine gets so chapped so easy.
What do you do for them?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, that's why, first off, so you know the skin underneath your eyes, how it's super sensitive and thin? The same consistency or thickness right underneath the eyes is the same as your lips. You want to think of treating your lips the way you treat your eyes. Okay? With love, pamper them. People don't realize that your lips can age you. So if you don't take care of your lips, people. So I'm just going to look at your natural lip color that you have, and I'm just going to intensify it.
Okay.
So that way it's like not complicated. Okay, I think that's enough for your lips. And then we just need to setting spray it. This is my favorite part right here. I love it.
Oh, this feels so good. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
feel like $1,000,000 right now.
Well, you are $1,000,000.
Thank you.
Even without the makeup on.
Thank you.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, all that jazz. Do whatever you want. I don't really care. I just had fun. So anyway, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.